Hi, I'm Madison Floyd, and this is my sermon analysis speech. So, what makes a home happy? The first thing that comes to mind is the relationship between husband and wife. While I do not have any experience with marriage, I do have interest in the dynamic of husband and wife. More specifically, what goes into strengthening the relationship. The Marriage Ring by John Angel James explains the roles of marriage from a Christian standpoint. After reading this sermon, my opinion is that if the guidelines explained by John Angel James are applied correctly, then these lessons can be very helpful for young couples or Christian marriages in general. This sermon acts as a guide to building a happy home through strong and loving marriage. John Angel James offers practical advice for communication, conflict resolution, and nurturing a fulfilling relationship. The primary message of the sermon is that marriage from a Christian viewpoint is a beautiful thing. According to the sermon, while your parents should not be in charge of your love life, it is important to consult them when making the decision. John Angel James says, be guided by the advice of parents or guardians. Secondly, love should come first in the relationship. If it does not come first before marriage, then it should not be expected to come after. This sermon did a great job explaining the importance of personal attachment. This part of the sermon resonated with me the most, and I quote, "Love should respect the mind as well as the body. To be attached to an individual simply because of beauty is to fall in love with a doll, statue, or a picture. Such an attachment is lust or whim, but certainly not rational affection. If we love the body but do not love the mind, the heart, and the manners, our regard is placed upon the inferior part of the person. It is placed upon what may, by disease, be next year very different from what it is now. Nothing fades so quickly as beauty. It is like the delicate bloom of an attractive fruit. If there is nothing valuable underneath, then it will be thrown away in disgust when the petals are brushed off. It will be thrown away by the very hand of the one who plucked it." This is my favorite paragraph of the entire sermon, and I think that it is because people put so much weight on looks that they forget what matters most, which is a person's heart, because they're so caught up in today's standard of beauty. And as John Angel James says, marriage should always be formed on mutual attachment. My third takeaway from this sermon is marriage should always be entered into with strict attention to prudence. In other words, a person should wait until they are financially stable before agreeing to marriage. This is because it is such a big commitment. The sermon goes into detail about the conflicts resulted from a rushed marriage. Another point John Angel James emphasized is that marriage should always be formed with due regard to godliness. This sermon explains that a godly person should not marry someone who is not godly. It discusses the importance of walking together in faith. To summarize, marriage is the foundation of the family. It must be treated with respect and care. Marriage can never be guarded too carefully. Also, if love is missing, marriage is degraded into a brutal contract. The sermon quotes, "Love is a plant of holier birth than any that takes root on earth, a flower from heaven, which 'tis a crime to number with the things of time." Overall, I agree with the lessons and guidelines explained in this sermon. Marriage is a union that should be treated with the most respectful manner. After my speech, I hope the audience has a higher level of respect for the basis of marriage, because I know I definitely do. And this sermon pointed out to me that the focus of marriage is the love in which the relationship was built from. The love is the foundation of the home. Love is what makes a home happy. Thank you.